If you're new, welcome. If you're a returner, welcome. Hopefully, if you are used to seeing folks on screens all the time, you'll get that extra bonus of seeing folks in person occasionally. And we're going to talk a little bit about what to expect for this year, but one of our goals is to really be in line with the mantra that the college has been using for the last year and a half, which is to show compassion, kindness, to understand each other's situations. And so we know that as we do mentorship programs and have relationships with each other, that we're all in different places right now. We have different comfort levels. We have different anxieties about things. And so we really want to meet you where you're at the best we can. And so we want to have some options like today to do some stuff virtually where it makes sense. But we know a lot of folks need that personal connection too, meeting in person and seeing their mentor, their mentee in person. And so we want to give you those opportunities to do that safely as well. So hopefully it's a great year for everyone where you can kind of go at your own pace, do what you feel comfortable doing. And please let us know, please don't hesitate to reach out. We're going to say that a million times on this call, but if there's something that you need that you're not getting out of a mentorship relationship, out of one of these programs, let us know as early as possible so we can think about it. We're new at doing hybrid programming. And so we want to listen to folks and hear what you have to say so we can make it as good as it can be. So, but my name is Brett Welsh, as I said a second ago. I'm the director for the Student Engagement and Inclusion Office. I get to work with the Man Initiative program. It's really good to see some of the guys from Man Initiative on here today, as well as folks from Women's Connection. It's great to see you all as well. But I want to give our student leaders, we have 3 of our student leaders that help with these programs on here today. And we have one more, Sarah Martin, who many of you know. She's a second-year student that helps out with Women's Connection. She couldn't be here today, but we can't forget Sarah because she's an amazing student. But we do have 3 of our student leaders. So I want to turn it over to them so they can introduce themselves and what program they'll be working with.
Thanks, Brad. Hello, everyone, and welcome back. Again, I am one of the ambassador coordinators. My name is Quankia Nolan. My pronouns are she, hers, and hers. Sorry, I am also an ambassador coordinator. This is my second year. I'm studying criminal justice, and I'm so excited for this year. So enjoy today.
Thank you, Q. Hello, everyone. This is Semevo, and I'm one of the student leaders. My pronouns are he, him, and his, and I'm studying cybersecurity. And that's my first year as a student ambassador, so I'm excited about this program and to meet and have this wonderful journey with all of you guys.
Thank you, Samevo. Hello, everybody. How are you doing? My name is Westside Judy. I go by Wes for short. My pronouns are he, him, and his. I'm also a student and coordinator here with the college, and I support mainly with the Man Initiative program. I've been told that I look cute on a Sunday, and this is not a Sunday, so you get the best that you get right now. And yeah, looking forward to getting to know and meeting the rest of you guys today. Oh, sidebar. If you are a student or a mentor, feel free to leave your name and what program you're with in the chat. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Wes. As Wes said, please let us know who you are. Use the chat. We love interacting on the chat. It's probably the easiest way with, I see there's 4 pages of people on here. So I don't know what that math is, but that's lots of people. So it's probably harder for us to all turn our mics on and off, but please let us know what you're thinking, questions, introduce yourself, use that chat feature. I'm going to share my screen now. We've got a little bit before we break into our breakouts to kind of get into Man Initiative and Women's Connection separately. We thought it would be good to bring the programs together to really talk about mentorship. Sometimes we don't do a great job of starting at the beginning where we should, and just saying, what is this program all about? I joined this program, Man Initiative. I joined this program, Women's Connection. What am I here for? What do I expect to get out of it? What's expected of me by being a part of this? And so we want to just go over some of those basics. So I'm gonna stop talking now so I can focus on sharing my screen because I'm terrible at multitasking. So let me pull this up real quick. Katrina, are we good? Can you see that?
Yes, I can. It looks
All right.
great.
Great. All right. So what to expect for today, just real quick. We're going to go over some expectations and tips, Katrina and I, and then you're going to get a chance to hear from our students, which will be really beneficial. So if you're a student on here and you want to know what to expect from mentorship, our students can kind of tell you as folks who have had that experience. And then we will break out into 2 different rooms. And so we will place you into either the Women's Connection or Man Initiative room. If you are a mentor that helps out with both programs, sorry, we had to pick one for you today, but you can always go back and, catch up with us if you have any questions about what you missed. But I think a lot of the folks that are helping out with both programs are veterans anyway, so you should be all right. So real quick overview of the Man Initiative and Women's Connection program, something that's not on here that I'll just give you a little background. Man Initiative has actually been around for about 12 years now. So it's been around for quite a long time. And then some folks joined our team, Sarah Baker, who's actually on this call. I saw her a second ago. And Katrina was a student employee at the time. We're in our office and we had some great conversation about creating a similar program to Man Initiative, specifically for women. And that's expanded to include non-binary folks as well. But the idea is that we have these programs that anybody on campus can be a part of, regardless of your age, regardless of any other factors, that you can come and be a part of Women's Connection or Man Initiative and get a one-on-one mentorship relationship at the college. And we're going to talk about why that's so important. But the idea is that through mentorship and being a part of this group, that you're going to be more likely to be successful. In fact, that's why we keep getting funding year after year, is because at the end of the year, we're able to show data that says folks who are a part of Man Initiative and Women's Connection, look at them, they have better GPAs. They're more likely to come back from semester to semester. They're more likely to feel connected to the college. So if you take advantage of things like Man Initiative, Women's Connection, or any of the other programs at the college, you're going to be more likely to feel connected, to feel engaged, to know where to go for support. And so we strongly encourage you to get involved in stuff. And I think showing up today and being a part of this program is really the good first step. The heart of these programs, we said this a lot last year, it was so hard to get together, besides Zoom calls. And so we had to double down and just say, at the heart of this program is mentorship. It's great to get together with peers. We believe in connecting people and making friends. But really what the heart of these programs is that you have somebody on campus, a faculty or staff member or an administrator that you can go to and say, this is what I'm struggling with. This is what I need help with. Where do I go to get this support? And you have that person to kind of walk through and help you do some of those things. And so, please don't show up today. Don't be a part of this program and not take advantage of mentorship, because you're really missing out on really what this is all about. Of course, we want you to be there and eat the pizza and do all the fun stuff too, but really take advantage of the opportunities for mentorship. Both of these programs meet monthly, so it's not a huge time commitment. Once a month, Women's Connection gets together and they have a meeting called a core group. And so you'll get together and have your core group meetings. Those are going to be in person for the autumn semester. And then Man Initiatives, we get together and we have barber shops once a month. And the idea of a barber shop is it's a place where guys can just talk and just be real and have real conversation. And so both of them are good times where you can come. We often have speakers at those, whether it's somebody from the college leading something or bringing somebody in from the community. And then you get credit. So if you go to the monthly meetings, we give you credit for that. And then at the end of the semester, if you've been meeting with your mentor, you've been attending the monthly meetings, if you miss a monthly meeting, we have some alternatives you can come to. There's some fun things, educational things. There'll be some virtual opportunities. So if for some reason you miss the in-person monthly meetings, but you're able to go to a combination of those and some other events throughout the year, meet with your mentor, you can get a $250 scholarship in fall and a $250 scholarship in the spring. So $500 just for being involved in this, which hopefully feels like a pretty good deal. Hopefully you would do it for free just because of all the other perks of having the mentor and meeting friends, and we feed you a lot. So hopefully it's worth it for that, but then we do give you the scholarship as well at the end of the semester. So just to talk a little bit about mentorship, because it is something that we do think is so important. In fact, we started we started these programs by saying, let's build these programs that are, great for having mentorship. And along the way, I think, me, Katrina, other people who have worked with these programs have actually really gone full nerd into this idea of mentorship. We read articles now, we go to conferences. We want to really be experts and have a strong understanding of how do we do mentorship effectively. And so these are some of the things that we think you should know right from the bat as you start one of these programs. So mentoring is a personal relationship. I think it's important to note that right from the beginning. This is not a business relationship. This is not a relationship you have with a boss typically. This is not something that should be really stiff, overly formal. It's a personal relationship. Now it has a goal beyond just, a friendship or something like that. There's a goal to it, which is that you develop and you grow through this relationship. Either you take on new skills, new knowledge, you get a better sense of where you're going because of that relationship, but it should really be a personal connection. And the idea is that you connect two people, one that has a sense of more experience or knowledge with somebody who's less knowledgeable. Sometimes that looks like an older person with a younger person, but not always. Sometimes our mentors are younger than our mentees, if it's a good fit, because maybe that mentor, even though they're younger, they've gone through it, they've graduated, they've gotten a degree, they're into a field, and they have that experience they can share with whoever their mentor is, or whoever their mentee is. But we also like to say for our mentors that we learn a lot from the students as well. Just about every mentor I know that keeps coming back will tell you every year they learn something from the student that they're helping to support. And that's why they keep coming back. So it's really a two-way. We learn from each other and we help each other grow. But tap into the experiences, tap into the knowledge that your mentors have. Ask lots of questions. That's how you're going to get the most out of it. Mentors' roles vary based off the situation. So a mentor is never just one thing. They're not just always going to show up in one type of way. I've had lots of different mentees and I've been a mentee, and we all need different things at different points in our life. So sometimes we need to go to somebody and say, I don't know what I'm doing, and it becomes more of a coaching, like, how can you help me get to where I need to be or figure out where I need to even start? Sometimes you just have a lot going on in life and you just need someone to listen to you. And so if you find yourself in a tough spot this semester and you're just like, I just need someone that can just listen and help process, the things I'm going through. Maybe that's what you need to get out of mentorship. Sometimes we need a safe place where we can go and just be able to share frustrations, vent about things, share that we've got a lot going on, and know that we're going to meet someone who's not going to judge us, who's not going to turn us away. And so it's a safe place for you. One of the things I think is most important, if you're a mentor in the room today, is to be a sounding board. And what does that mean, to be a sounding board? It means that you don't have all the answers. It doesn't mean that you know everything. I promise I don't know everything if you come to me and ask questions. But if you come to me and you want to process with me, I'm going to try to ask the right questions so you can think about what is best for you. And that's what it's like to be a sounding board, is to say, you're struggling with this, you're thinking about this, you want to go in this direction. Let me help you think about how you make the best choices for yourself, and just give you another perspective and some ideas about how you can figure out how to even get there. And so I think as mentors, that's really what we're called to do. And that doesn't take a lot other than just listening and helping students think about, what their situation is and what they want to get out of it. And then I think another big piece about being a mentor, or if you're a student, what you can get out of your mentors is getting connected to resources and opportunities. Columbus State can be a big place, especially if you're new. There can be a lot of things going on that you're not aware of, and resources that are available to you, or community connections. I know one thing, Dr. Harrison, many of you know, is the president of the college. He's one of our mentors for Main Initiative. One thing that he always tries to connect his mentees with is, once he finds out their major or their interest, he starts connecting them to people that he knows in that area. And so, one of the things that we can do as mentors, or students that you should be tapping into your mentors, is, hey, can you tell me someone I can talk to about this? I'm thinking about this major. I want to get more involved in the community. I'm kind of toying around with the idea of getting a career in this field. What should I do? As mentors, as we hear those things, who can we connect students to help make sure they're having the conversations that's going to get them, in the right classes and the right major, tapping into resources in the community to help meet their needs. And so that's a big part of it too, is that experience of knowing what resources are available. I would encourage everybody, when you meet with your mentor or mentee, if it's not the first meeting, the second meeting, to really kind of share your expectations about what you hope to get out of this program. And again, it doesn't have to be super formal. It doesn't have to be write this down on a sheet. And, it can just be, maybe that works for you doing something more formally. But if you're a more informal person, at least kind of put it out there, or if you're a mentor, ask the question, what do you hope to get out of this? At the end of the year, what would you have hoped to have got out of a mentorship relationship, or out of Man Initiative, or out of Women's Connection? When I'm on my best, I'm asking students what their goals are. What are your goals for this semester? What are your goals for the year? When do you hope to leave Columbus State? What do you hope to leave with when you leave Columbus State? Where are you going after Columbus State? Sometimes we get so stuck in, I need to pass this math class, that we're not thinking beyond, the here and now. And so we always have to kind of have one foot in what we're doing now and being present in the moment, but also a foot in what am I thinking of, what am I doing for the future? How am I setting myself up? And all of you are investing in your future by being here in college right now. That's what this is. It's a big investment in your future and your future career. So having a mentor to really help you find that balance of how do I be here and present and do well in classes and be there for my family and show up to my job, but also continue thinking about where I want to go and what I want to do beyond this place or beyond this year. And it all starts by sharing your goals and sort of your expectations as you're in a space together. I won't go into this this next point too much, but when we think about mentorship, this is one of those nerd pieces. There's 3 phases that we know make up mentorship. And probably the most important is the very first one, because if you don't have the very first one, which is developing a connection, you can't have the last 2. So the most important thing before you jump right into the meat of everything that you want to do and achieve and accomplish, you've got to form that connection with your mentor or your mentee. And as soon as you have that relationship, that connection, whatever that is, maybe that's going out to lunch the first time, having coffee, just talking about life, form that connection and continue to do that every meeting after that. Because as you build that connection and have that trust and that relationship, you're going to be more likely to be able to get into the meat of things, which becomes the coaching, becomes the, let me walk you through this. Let me show you what your options are. Let me connect you to resources. But that's going to work so much better if you trust the person and if you have a good relationship with them. And so it takes constant work to get there. And it's hard. I was just out talking to a faculty member a few minutes ago out in the courtyard. It's hard to people again. If you know what I'm talking about, after being locked down and away from everybody. How do I people again? How do I interact with other people and have relationships and normal conversations where I'm not wearing sweatpants and so we're all, I think, trying to adjust to that. But I encourage everybody, put yourself out there, be brave, put yourself out there, show up to meetings, build that relationship. Every time you say yes to something, it's something that could potentially be monumental in your life. Everything I said yes to in college ended up setting me up for something better later on. So say yes to your mentors and your relationships. And then the last piece is, at some point, these programs are going to end for the year, for you as a student. And so I would encourage you to think about, if not right now, as you get later into the year, how do we transition this mentorship relationship to whatever the next phase is? Some of you are likely, just based off of sheer numbers, to have incredible experiences with your mentors or mentees, where they become a lifelong support for you and you stay connected. I wish that for everybody here. Some of you may not have, it might be a good relationship, but it might not be that level, and that's okay too. Maybe it's just a year of support or a year of connection. That's okay. So how do you wrap up that and think about transitioning? Or is it, I was coming to your office every other week, but now that we're on a break and it's summer, maybe we try to stay in touch once a month now, or once every couple months. But just be thinking about, as we wrap the program up in May, how do you continue to have a relationship with your mentor or mentee that goes beyond this? And then, as was already said, building rapport and having great communication is key. Probably the mentor-mentee relationships that don't work on a regular basis are the ones where there's no communication, or there's failed communication. So someone emails, someone calls, the other person doesn't email or call, or they wait a month and then they reach out and the other person doesn't respond. You got to have the two-way communication, and you got to do it early if you want mentorship to work for you. whether that's with one of these programs or just in general. You got to respond, right? You can't be friends with somebody and never be in communication with them. So those are kind of important. So here's some of our expectations for the year, and I won't spend as much time on this, but like we've already said, mentorship is the most important component of these programs. And so to earn the scholarships, to be considered an engaged, active member, we want to see that you're meeting with your mentor. And so what does that look like in practice? We ask folks to meet with their mentors or their mentees live. So live can be either a virtual call, a phone call, in person in an office, going to something together, but you are talking live, person to person, because there's something different about that. And Katrina's going to talk about that. There's something different about that between talking to someone live versus texting or emailing. And so twice a month, if you can connect even for 30 minutes, what we know about mentorship and what the data shows us is that that's going to be a much more productive relationship. You're more likely to get something out of if you make time for at least twice a month. Some folks realize that, you know, they want to meet much more than that, or they come up with some kind of other cadence where, you know, they figure out what works. So we want to let you decide what works with your mentee or mentor, but we're asking that you try to make time at least twice a month, at least 30 minutes to meet live. The way we track that is at some point, both Women's Connection and Man Initiative will send out a form that has to be signed by both mentors and mentees. I can only speak for Man Initiative. Historically, we have not been great at getting back these forms at the rate that we would like to get them back at. So that's why we're really pushing this early in the year. Is mentorship is super important, and we are going to try to help hold you accountable by sending a form out, not every week, not all the time, at least once or twice a semester. We're going to send a form out that you have to sign and your mentor or mentee has to sign. So both parties saying we've met, we have plans to meet, we're going to meet. It's productive, it's not been productive, so we can have some kind of account of how it's going. We don't need to know all the personal conversations that you're having. You know, we want those to be personal relationships between you all. But just to give you a chance to reflect on what's going well, what's going bad, and if you are meeting. So look for those forms. That's part of the requirements for the program. Like I said, mentorship is a two-way street. So both parties are expected to follow through with communication. We often ask mentors to really make that first push and connection. Students, don't wait. You know, if you're ready to go and your mentor's not reaching out, send that email, make that phone call, send that text message. But mentors, we really encourage you. You know, you're the more established folks here. A lot of times you're the ones who have been at the college longer and maybe seen as the scary authoritative figure. And so help bridge that gap by reaching out first. You know, really make the students feel welcome and bring them into this relationship. But after that, it's not on just the employees. And I tell that all the time to our mentors. I can't get in touch with this student. Well, at some point, the student has to meet you, or vice versa. Sometimes we have mentors who haven't shown up like we expect them to. And so, you know, when someone reaches out, respond. I will give one quick tip, though. A lot of times mentors really want to reach out by email. A lot of us that are professional staff members, we do so much on email. We live on email all day. A lot of students aren't going to respond to emails. So if you really want to get connected to a student and you really want to get a good response, I would suggest calling or texting to set something up to begin. Maybe that feels a little foreign, but a lot of times that's where the communication holdup is sending multiple emails and the student never responding to them. So if you send that email and no one responds, I encourage you to go to another format. Try the phone, try text, try something. And last thing I will say, and I'm going to turn this over, I think, to Katrina now. But if something's not working, so whether it's a communication issue or you're like, you know, me and this mentor, this student just don't seem to have enough in common. We're not really on the same page. I'd like to be matched with someone else if it's possible. I met this other cool person that's a part of this group. You think they could be my mentor? We can't always accommodate that, but communicate with us as the staff. You know, and I'm including our student leaders in this as well. Let us know what's going on. I would hate for you to get to the end of the semester and you're like, well, I just never met with them because I didn't really care for my mentor. Tell us that way at the beginning so we can try to get you connected with somebody or find somebody else on campus. We've done that too, where someone's like, I've already got this great relationship with this faculty member that's already kind of been a mentor to me. I'll reach out to that person and see if they're willing to sign up for Women's Connection or Man Initiative. So we can make them a part of this program and you can keep them as a mentor. So we want to work with you and we want you to have a good experience. That's the most important part of it. So, all right, Katrina, I turn it over to you.
Thanks, Brett. I just want to apologize real quick. So I did use snipping tool because we use this. This is such an important part of the presentation that I used it in another presentation and I didn't realize I highlighted real-time virtual communication. So if you see a box, that's because I snipped it without deselecting it. But thank you so much for sticking around with all of us. Like Brett said, communication is so key, especially when we're working hybrid. Last year, we were just completely operating virtually, and being a mix between these two types, which I'm about to talk about, is super key in connecting with your mentor or with your mentee. But they do not equal each other. So the first one we're going to talk about is real-time / virtual communication, okay? So before COVID, one of the requirements we used to have for mentorship meetings that it had to be face-to-face. And the reason why is because what are some things you could say, it is so quiet right now because we're virtual. Say some things. What are some things that you see that you can notice in a real-time conversation, like a face-to-face conversation that you can't see through text? You can shout it out. You can put it in the chat. What is something you can see?
Expressions.
Exactly. Was that Notori? Hey, Notori.
Yeah.
Non-verbal.
Whoever said that owes me a soda. Jinx.
Yep. Y'all are on point. All of you said that. Body language, non-verbals, being able to follow up. Those are important. You cannot see that in text message. So of course, before COVID, we were like, we want to have these organic, authentic mentorship meetings. That could be 30 minutes. That could be longer. It's really depending on what you and your mentee or mentor decide together. But there's really nothing that can replace a live conversation for a mentorship meeting. So when we say you have to meet 1, 2, 3 times a month, we are saying it has to be a real-time virtual communication. Of course, we understand that we are in a hybrid situation. We have expanded to what that looks like. If you feel comfortable having in-person meetings, you are able to do that. And I would say it has to be a two-way street and you have to communicate that. Another thing is teleconferencing services, Zoom, FaceTime, what's some other ones? There's so many now. There's WhatsApp, Teams, a phone call, normal phone call, Google phone, that fun one with the games, that one's the best one, the game one. You can do karaoke together. I did it like a few times. It was really fun. I don't know what it's called. It was like so popular right when the pandemic started and everyone was on it. I will figure it out. I'll let you all know. But those are what count as mentorship meetings, not text messages. But I will say this, I am not saying text messages and emails and messaging apps are not important. I'm just saying they're not equal to each other. They cannot replace one another. But the recipe for an amazing mentorship connection is a mix of these two. And you know why? You might see it in the PowerPoint as a hint. It's called House Party. Thank you, Nikki. House Party is so fun and it's free. It's such a fun messaging app. You can do karaoke, like what? And like charades. But back to text-based communication. The reason why this is so important is because we don't have these natural check-ins like we did when we were in person, right? We don't get to see people as they walk across the campus if they're not taking any in-person classes. We have to really make an effort to check on how are people doing, right? Especially during a pandemic. We are still in a pandemic. But when Brett said you need to, it's important to build rapport, it's important to show up, it's important to follow up. This is where this is really going to happen, the text-based communication. And this could also look like a phone call too, if you're you just want to check in. But following up from the meeting you had, let's say a student said, I am really stressed out about this math test. I'm really stressed about this class. and you using that text-based communication to be like, hey, how'd that math test go? Did that tutoring help? I just wanted to see if that worked for you, and just checking in and, affirming that that you're there to support. That's important. And that's exactly why text-based communication is important, because you're following up with each other. You're seeing how you're doing in between those meetings. And you're even can be talking about, like, what do you want to do for the next meeting? Like, do you want to get some lunch? Like, that happens in the text-based. I will say, Brett is absolutely correct. People's preference for text-based is very different. So, that is something you just want to clarify. Like, if your students, like, I do not really check my student email like that as much as you should be checking your student email all the time. But let's just say theoretically, you don't check it all the time, but you check your text messages all the time. You probably should text them if you're comfortable. But I always like to go over this because the key is a mixture of these two types of communications, but they do not equal one another. Thank you. Thank you, Brett. Okay. So the next two slides before we get to our awesome personal stories of our student leaders of mentorship, I just have some tips for y'all, like that we find that has made successful interactions with mentorship. A lot of this might be a little bit repeat. Brett was really great at going over a lot of these tips. The first one he talked about is be direct regarding your communication preferences. You want to make sure that you have the right contact information. So the contact information we're going to share with the both of you is based off of your application. And let's be honest, things can change, since the time you submit an application. You may have a new number, you might have a new phone number. You want to say that, like, hey, I have a new number now, let's make sure we have that. Another thing too is for employees, a lot of employees do opt in to put in their personal mobile number into their application, but sometimes they put their employee email, their employee number. If you want to, you decide to text, you want to make sure you share that number with your student. So just make sure you clarify that this should be probably the first steps you do in your first meeting is like, hey, is this the right contact information? Or you can even do that through the text-based method is like, I just want to make sure, is this right? And anytime it changes, just make sure you communicate that not only with your mentor, your mentee, with us as well, so we're not emailing the wrong ones. Is Danielle Starks here? So I love Danielle. Danielle has been in Women's Connection for a while. She's also not just a student, but she's also an employee on campus. And I wasn't emailing her wrong email this whole time last time, and I'm glad we had this conversation, but she has 2 emails. So that's why it's important to discuss communication preferences, and she did that perfectly. Another thing I just want to say is mentors. So Women's Connection and Man Initiative, we're sending matches at different times, but Women's Connection, you will receive your match by email from me by the end of this week. And what happens is I directly email the mentor and the mentee, and in that email will be the mentee's application. Mentors use this as a tool. The questions we ask in that application is, what is their communication preferences? If they mark email as the last one, please do not email them like, hey, when do you want to meet? And if they do, they probably will check it, but you don't hear something, maybe you should follow up by another communication method. Another thing too is just seeing how comfortable people are with, in-person, face-to-face interaction, like in person. And if you both are, that's perfectly okay. You're able to meet, just do it safely. If you would like to do a virtual mentorship, that's okay too. And I think that's why it's important to use this tool. Another thing is your mentee provides their why of why they selected mentorship. They also select what their goals are, what they want in a mentorship and connection. So it can really help you also develop questions to ask them or get into background of how you can best support them. So I definitely say utilize your tool. I know Man Initiative is open to also sharing the questions as well. So please, the key is reach out to us. The next one, Brett already said this, but I just have to say this. Consistency is so key. Show up when you say you're gonna show up. I will tell you, that is the key to building rapport and trust in any connection. You all know that, right? Like if you plan to come, it's your commitment. You've made this commitment with each other to show up once or twice a month or more. but show up when you're going to show up, and, be a person of your word. Another thing too is sometimes, you may, let's say you email one another and you don't get a response. Don't get discouraged. Try another communication method. I had a mentor I was talking to, and sometimes, your relationship in this mentorship relationship can evolve over time. I had a mentor that told me, their connection really blossomed during the pandemic. Like one time the student reached out and was like, hey, I really need someone to talk to. And from there it happened. And, they already were paired for already a year already. So like, just know things happen naturally, and just know it's just all about consistency and trial and error, and just, being present and reaching out. Also, if you try to call them, which I think is great, I'm a caller. I know a lot of people don't like calling, like, hey, what you doing? Like they text all the time, but I'm definitely a caller. Leave a voicemail, because if they have, like, what do you do if you see a number you don't know? Some of y'all don't answer it. Let's be honest. But look at Wes. I can't see everyone's faces. But you want to make sure that they know that you called, and that you're the student in the program, or you're a mentor in the program, and so that they can just call you back. Okay. This is my favorite one. Well, one of my favorite ones is, who uses calendar invites? Anyone? I live by, if it's not on my calendar, I'll forget. Let's be honest. Like, I'll just be honest. Okay. So, schedule your mentorship meetings ahead of time. Oh, look at Jasmine. Yep. I live by my calendar. So, all of your emails have a calendar invite through Outlook, and if you use Google, they have it through Google Calendars too. I suggest utilizing this to plan out your meetings with your mentor and your mentee. Like, hey, let's find a time where we're both available, and commit to this every month. Schedule it out, share it with each other, so you know what's coming up, right? Another thing too is, this also, time goes by very fast, like, you never felt like a month and like, where did that go? Like this whole summer felt like that. Like I was just like, did summer really go that fast? Well, that happens all the time, especially when it gets really busy. So I always suggest the first meeting you have with your, mentorship pair or pairs, some of you have two, is schedule your meetings ahead of time. Like, hey, we're going to commit to this for the semester. Let's send the calendar invites now, so that it won't, time won't get robbed. And yes, I love sticky notes too, Skyland. Yeah, I love them. Is so that you can just both find a time to commit to meeting with each other once a month. Okay. The last tip on this one is prepare a list of open-ended questions before meetings, right? I will say you will see some stuff from all of the mentorship team, from the student leaders, from Brett and I, on the Cougar Connect pages we have, of just some ideas of questions you can use, or we have mentorship training. So please be on the lookout for that if you're looking for some ideas. This is a great way to start conversations and to be very intentional with your time, right? Sometimes you could be meeting for 30 minutes and not, like, you want to make sure what you want to ask gets answered then. Nikki, I'm the same. I'm looking at the chat too. You can go to the next page, Brett. Okay. So another thing too is, if you're meeting, have a notebook, or take mental notes, some type of way of taking notes. I know anytime I'm at any type of meeting, I always have a notebook, or I just make sure, if I don't have a notebook, I make sure to write down the things we talked about right after. And the reason why this is important is, when we talked about check-ins, like how important it is to, to connect with one another, to build rapport, to see how people are doing. You want to make notes, right? You want to make notes. Who has ever heard the quote from Maya Angelou that says, people will forget what you say, but they'll remember how you make them feel? Well, yes, that is super true. And I love that quote. But in this instance, we do not want to forget what people say in the mentorship meeting. So, like, even though that is true, and you remember, oh yeah, that was a great meeting, please write that down. Like, you want to follow up about the job offer they had, or like, if you heard from a mentor, like some of the things that they got involved with in school, or some of the things that they volunteered for, you want to write that stuff down, because it's important. Another thing is, this is kind of redundant, use a wide range of communication options. So like, don't just use Teams and Zooms. Those are fine. If you want to use that, you could use other things like GroupMe, in-person meetings, text, email, House Party. Like I'm telling you to check out House Party. I know I spoke with a mentor and mentee. They use like, it's on an Apple phone, like an iPhone. It's a game. I think it's called Game Pigeon. Do y'all know what that is? Game Pigeon. So basically you can play games through text message. And I didn't know that they have like chess for free, darts, a lot of different things, but it makes it fun. So I know I have a few, I know for Man Initiative specifically, I think I was talking to Richard Kane. He's like, yeah, my mentee and I, we go really hardcore with chess. So I think that's wonderful. So if you like to play that stuff, do that. That's a great way to, use your check-in time and text-based communication. Another thing, I know there's only 2 more left, is be creative with your meetings, okay? It is beneficial to have, a meeting in the office. That's still great, but you don't have to do that every time. We're going to get into our breakout session soon, and you're going to figure out some of the upcoming events we have. So for Women's Connection, core groups do not count as a mentorship meeting. So if you see your mentor there, that is wonderful, but it does not count as a mentorship meeting. But what events do count are their socials and special events. So we have a social coming up. Wes is actually leading it. It is open to everyone on campus. All the mentors are invited. It's a Halloween event, outdoor movie event that is family friendly as well. So that would be a great event to go with your mentor or student. There's gonna be pumpkin painting. Like I'm super excited about it. So another thing is like you can all attend like a virtual Zoom class. People have done that together, have lunch together. And then also, this is when I say creative, it doesn't have to be like super fun, but it also is being creative in catering to what is available at the moment for what works best for the student or the mentor, right? So let's say a student is working, this is a real story. I know many of you could raise your hand right now. Works a full-time job, a student parent, and goes to class full-time. Sometimes your schedule gets really crazy, right? Be creative in how you meet with one another. If you know that when you're sharing each other's schedule and you find out that the student has a class on campus and has like 30 minutes in between classes, walk with them to class, to the next class. I've had a student do that where that was the only way they could meet that semester, but that works too. Another thing is I have a student who is they're immune compromised and they cannot really go into person meetings. And one of the things that this mentor would do is they would, instead of having lunch together like they used to send Uber Eats and then like meet on video chat together. So like there's some creative ways to do things, and it's open and a personal choice with one another, but have fun with it. And if you want some ideas, let us know. I would love to help brainstorm, some fun ways. Another thing too is reach out again. I'm going to just reinstate this. What Brett said is reach out to your mentorship staff for support. Reach out to the student leaders too for support. I remember the first time I was in a mentorship program, I was like, I knew it was important, but I didn't know exactly what do you do in a mentorship relationship. And I was nice to have that example from other students to be like, what questions should I ask? Or like, how can I, make the most of this opportunity? Like lean on to them and ask them like, what have they done? Or we're about to hear their story soon and see what they've done as well. Another thing too, mentors, please reach out to me and Brett too. Absolutely. Like we cannot be a superhero for everybody. Okay. Because we're not. There's things like, for example, I'm not a professional licensed counselor. I do care, but I know that I'm going to have to lean onto my village, my village at Columbus State, my village at the community to really support these students as best as we can, right? So when I say you need to lean onto us, if you're looking for a resource to refer, that's a big way too, is that if you need some, brainstorming or a resource to connect them with, please do that as well. But that's about it for this. Now we get to do the personal stories of our amazing mentorship ambassadors. Samevo, Q, and Wes. So I'm going to pass the baton to all of them.
Howdy, everybody. Yes, it is Wes. You are hearing from me again. I will try to make this as short and sweet as I can, but I did get long-winded at time. Before we get into it, though, I know how the online sphere can be. So if you guys could do me a quick favor, I don't know if you got to stand up, whatever you got to do, just like shake it out, get crazy. Oh, yeah. Oh my gosh, sometimes in meetings it be like that. Okay, we here now. Holy moly. Okay, cool. So I will tell you guys, my name is Wes, by the way, Man Initiative, Student Ambassador. We be doing it up here. So hopefully this will be funny and a little, I'm a silly guy. We'll get silly with it, but also very personal at times. But I just hope you guys get the point of where I'm going. So yes, what does mentorship mean to me? Also, I will put that in the chat for everyone. I'll put that question up because I'm curious to hear what your responses to that is as well. Like, what does mentorship mean to you? I know it can look different for everyone. But yeah, I'm going to tell you my whole life story for a second, but I'll keep it short. So pretty much, I initially came to Columbus State in 2013 with my dad, like fresh out of high school. And I didn't know where I was going. I'm gonna keep it real. There's so many people, they tell you like where to go. They tell you like, oh, like school is important, like getting a job is important. But I don't know how many people authentically like guide you or help you find like your passions and things you can really lock into. Cause I never had like a reason per se to like go to college or to be in school. And so my dad, being the traditional African man that he is, who believed very much in education, he was like, school. I thought I could be Will Smith. Will Smith, I heard he took a little year off and, he was like, hey, let me try and find my passion. I think I could do this. My dad was like, I think you could go to school. And so, I was there and I wasn't really motivated. I was scared, being like fresh out of high school, seeing all these different age groups and all these different people around. I was like, oh my God, is this like where dreams go to die? I was like, oh, I could be something. And, the surprise, I'll get you into that a little early. This is not where dreams go to die. The dreams could actually happen here. But yeah, so that was like where it started. And what I'm trying to say is that mentorship, it started with me and my family and like my dad kind of being the leader and I followed. But, after the first go at C State, it didn't go so hot. I wasn't motivated. I'll keep it honest. I felt really lost. I was like, what's like my purpose? My dad always asked, like, oh, what's your plan? Like, what's your plan? And I was adrift for a little bit. And so, I went out into the world. I tried my best to like find myself. I did a lot of amazing things in the time that I wasn't in school. Like I had a lot of events. I met a lot of people. I know a lot of photographers now. I was at South by Southwest. I met Nardwar. I went to California. I lived a lot of good life. I was a security guy for a little bit. Like I tried on all these different hats to try to figure out like, where is this life thing like going? And in there too, there was a little bit bout of depression as well. I was just like, turned into watching a lot of anime in my room by myself for a long time. And, luckily enough, though, I had friends who were also kind of mentors to me that like helped guide me and pull me out of that. I had a really good friend, Tim Jones. He called me one day with an opportunity to like work with children like for a summer. And I really was like, oh my God, this guy must not know that I'm a hooligan. Like, why would he want me around children? And, he said, no, man, I like your attitude. Like, there's just something about you, it's something that he could see in me that I really couldn't quite see in myself. And, this was pretty much a peer to me, but he had already like had some successes out of his belt. He had like, went to college, like graduated. He had the vision to be a principal. And I was still trying to find my vision, making a little bit of music, doing a little bit of art. And so he put me in an opportunity to discover that I really loved like working with children. And like, I've seen a lot of different things in life. And so, especially as a child, so like, being able to be with children and be like, hey, I get it, man. Like this life thing can be tough, even at this very young age, and just get silly with them. And I was like, man, there might be something here. Now, at that point, I wasn't like, okay, I'm going back to school and I'm going to be a teacher or something like that. That's not really where it went for me. There's still some more like searching and finding. And then, let's fast forward, the pandemic hit. and I was working at a thrift store that sucked. And the manager was always trying to watch me like, you better put them shoes in the right order, Wesley. And I'm like, man, I know how to put shoes somewhere. And so I quit. Right around that time, it hit me. I was like, man, maybe I should go to school. Like, I like working with kids. Let me just try to stick to something that I can do and just like see how far it could take me. And so I went back to school. It was online. I'm sure, like for most of you, Sameva, I think you had the same experience with the online schooling. And to be honest, without the online schooling, without the pandemic, I don't know if I would have been able to go back to school. Because for me, I was like, a little bit of a class clown, you could see, and things like that. And like, I felt maybe a little bit distracted by all that in the classroom. So it was really good to get that like one-on-one like attention and care, and maybe a little bit of the disassociation, and just focus on the work. And around that same time, I found out about Man Initiative, and I heard about it. I was like, oh, email $250 scholarship. I was like, oh, that sounds nice. Oh, and I was like, and they're going to give me a mentor? Like, oh man, I needed a mentor since day one at C State, but I didn't know those type of opportunities existed. I didn't know like anything about like SEI and like all these different like student groups. I was out there on my own, and yeah, you know how that went. So through Man Initiative, I got to get paired with my mentor, Adam Hagar, which I learned so much from just in the first couple weeks, and the whole time of knowing him. He was spitting game off the rip. He said, hey Wes, like, make sure to connect with everyone. Like, there's a lot of mentors in this program. A lot of them, like, they could probably guide you in the direction you're going. Like, I'm gonna hit you with some game too. And he did. He hit me with some big facts. But it was really getting to meet people and learn from them, like Katrina, and Brett, and like Abi. Come on, Adam, you know what we're doing. He in the chat going crazy. But so yeah, I tried to be Katrina for like a week. Oh my gosh, it is so hard. So clap it up for Katrina for all that she does and the things that she puts together. And so yeah, I learned from her. I learned from Brett, because Brett, he's so cool. He gets to just be himself, and like just leads with such a specific like candor. I'm probably going over this time, but I'm gonna bring it home. I promise you, it all makes sense when we bring it home. But yeah, so I learned from everyone that I'm around. I learned from Samevo. I learned from Q.
Yes, Angelique, I'd like to make a payment on the account.
Okay, we're gonna do that too. So yeah, so pretty much, Adam told
084
that you gotta that he was there and he had my back, and it meant a lot, and it put me in the position to like discover like all this wonder. And I hope that you guys get to have just a little bit of the experience that I have. So through mentorship for me, and here's what's bringing it home, I found myself, I found my passion, and I found my tribe. Thank you for your time.
That was a wonderful story, Wes. I love the fact that you actually went out of your way to find out what you like, branching out and connecting with that. And so it's an amazing story. That was a nice story to hear. As of me, I'm much more like a solo person. I like doing my things my own ways. I've never tried to branch out to anyone, right? And during the pandemic, I tried to learn the the consequences of those kind of action, right? Trying to like isolate yourself and trying to do everything your own way. So I was blessed with someone in my life that always sticked out. He was always there, right? Calling me out, like, calling me every Sunday to see how I was doing, checking up on me and all that. And slowly I started connecting to him, right? I started sharing with him my personal stories and all this. And I remember clearly I think it was last year by the end of the semester, the pandemic was on, and I was home all day, just going to work, coming back home, and after that, just studying. So it was just life that I was living at that time. And I remember that I was so tired emotionally that I just did not want to keep studying anymore, right? So I was almost there, right? I was almost there. At the finish line, and I was tired. I couldn't go anymore. So, if you ever be in that kind of situation where you just you are tired of, you have a goal, you're going through it, and you're just tired of you have all those suggestive mind, ideas coming into your mind and all that. So at that time, I was thinking, well, it might be time for you to be a doctor. I've never tried, I'm in cybersecurity, so I've never thought about being a doctor in my life, but it was just those excuses that were roaming through my head. How about I try to be a booker? You never know. So, and it was at a time that he actually reached out to me. Right, he reached out to me and he told me how. I shared with him what I was going through, and he really rekindled that passion that I have for my studies, cybersecurity, and he was encouraging me every single way, coming back and telling me how I got this, encouraging me. Thanks to him, I got a chance to finish on my semester, and thanks to him, I'm here today, starting back again on my second year, and starting us all strong. So I thank him a lot for his presence in my life, and that's one of the reasons why when I saw the Men Initiative, I told myself, well, this is something I have to participate in, because I've seen the power of mentorship. I've seen the power of being connected to people, right? The power of like being just there for others when they need someone to reach out to them. And I want to be that force in other people's life, as well as I want other people to be that force in my life as well. So that was one of the biggest motivation that really encouraged me to be to study this path right here. And I'm so excited about learning about, from each one and every one of you guys. I'm just starting right now, and from what I've been learning from Wes, Quill, Katrina, and Brett, then that's a lot, and I really appreciate all of you guys, and I'm looking forward to the end of the semester.
Thank you, Samevo. That was very good story. I enjoyed it. Hi, everyone. Again, my name is Kwankia, but you guys can call me Q. For those of you who are just not entering in, I'm gonna be very short because we don't have that much time, but I'm just getting right into it. I actually been around for a while now. I was just a mentee in Women's Connection. So I have a little history, a little growth there. And then now I'm also an ambassador coordinator and still a mentee. Great. So I'm just gonna talk about my favorite memory of a mentor in this mentorship program. My favorite memory is the one I will never forget is when my mentor, Janae Parker, some of you might know her. She's in Texas now, but she's a wonderful person. So I'll say like maybe, I think 2 years ago, maybe, she gave me an opportunity to write a poem for the Student Success Summit. I never wrote a poem before. When I was younger, I used to write a little bit, but it was not that meaningful. It was just for a grade. It wasn't that important. But this time around, she gave me an opportunity, and it became my favorite memory because it was so out of my comfort zone, but most important to me that it was close to my heart, and it actually encouraged me to share my voice, and also to just reassure me that my voice does matter. And around that time, it was my second year of school, and my first year wasn't so good, so I wasn't involved as much, but my second year I was involved. So I felt like it was important for me to just get out there and just to branch off to see like what's out there, what's at Columbus State, what I want to do in life. So right now, poem definitely opened doors, allowed me to just see all the opportunities out there for me. And it was very scary, but it was very fun. And this made me realize what I want to do in the future and how I want to impact a lot of students or kids. I want to work with kids, if you don't know. So it just allowed me to just explore my options with that. And as of right now, not everything is set in stone, but I do have a goal, and that poem actually opened that door for that. And it was amazing. So overall, the experience was meaningful and fun. So yeah, that is my little story, and I will go ahead and transition. Now we're going to go ahead and be input into groups for our Women's Connection and Men Initiative. So I will pass it over to Katrina or Brett. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Q, Samevo, and Wes. I love personal stories. That was amazing. I am so appreciative. All three of you shared how much mentorship has impacted your life, and you were honest and real about it, and that's the best. And I just appreciate that. And we are so excited to have you three and Sarah as our fierce student leaders that will be helping plan the events that are coming up and matching and all of that. You are amazing. You're doing a phenomenal job. Okay, I have to be honest with all of you. This is the first time I've done breakout sessions with this large of a group. So I feel very confident in how I sorted this. But if for some reason you're in the wrong breakout room, just speak, like take your mic off, be like, hey, I'm in the wrong room. And we will just switch you to the right room. But if I didn't make any mistakes, I feel very great about that. So we're going to break out into rooms. I'm assigning everyone to, oh, we just had one more person join. Let me assign them in, and it'll start in about 10 seconds. See, I'll see you on the other side. Okay. Hey, Billy.
Okay.
Hey, y'all. Y'all can unmute your mics. We're in a small group now.
Hi.
Let's be real. Who has feeling screen fatigue right now? It's real right now. You can be honest. Was this a long time? You're raising your hand. I see. Let's take a break. You know, I really was. So this part was going to be like the rest of the PowerPoint for Women's Connection, which is important information. But let's just take a break. Let's just do a mental break right now. So you can take your mic off. I know that silence is weird. But screen fatigue is real, and that's why I'm excited for us to be able to have in-person stuff safely, a mixture of hybrid, because 2 hours is a long time. I know it's been like an hour, but I know a lot of who had classes this morning. Oh my gosh, look, okay. Look, Echo, Dianji, Kenya, Angela's laughing because she probably had class too. Okay, we could take a mental.
Mine's got canceled today, so.
Oh. Woohoo! I get excited about canceled plans. I'm not even gonna lie. I do get excited about canceled. Okay.
I'm not even in classes right now, so it's really nice for me.
Oh, that's good. Hey, Kirsten.
Hi. Sorry, I'm gonna keep myself a little muted just because I'm on the road right now, so I don't want any background road noise.
Please focus on the road. Please focus on the road.
Hello, everybody. This is Sheila.
Hi, Sheila.
Hi. I'm going to be muted also because I have a dog that is barking here.
You're fine. It gets real.
Sorry, maybe it
gets real. Please do never apologize if you have a dog or a baby crying in the background. It's real. I look at Adina's dog. Oh, he's so cute. Oh my goodness. I love that. If you were a Women's Connection, just a side fact, sometimes, you know, I get real about it here. Last time we had the last Women's Connection core group, my son is 4, he was 3 at the time. We were presenting and my son just like runs into the room, is like, you need to wipe my butt. And I was like, I cannot do that right now. So it gets real. So please never apologize. I think the authenticity of us having lives outside of school is okay, because we are all full people and things happen, you know, and so I never mind. So if I hear a dog, if I hear a cat, if I hear a child, I hear a family member, I hear construction in the background, that's okay. That's okay. So.
Hi, everyone. I'm going to mute myself because we have 17 dogs over here in Vet Tech.
Ooh. Hey, Tina.
And I know shortly at 1:30 they will start barking because they'll be ready to be walked.
Aw, you have like the coolest place on campus. The coolest place. That is so cool. Okay. Does anyone need to take like a bathroom break or anything? I'm being very honest. Like if you need a mental break right now, this is the time to do it. Take your 2 minutes. Does anyone just want to How was that? How was that training? This was the first time we did it, the orientation this way. How was the information you just received? You can be very honest. Was it helpful? Did you like
I thought it
that?
was terrific. Yeah, I thought you guys did a great job. Thanks for all the hard work you put into it.
Thank you, Billy. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, it's been good
thought
so
it was
far.
great.
Hi, Katrina.
Hey, Imani. Hello. Yeah, I'm glad that you enjoyed it. And if you're like something was missing, please tell me. My feelings never get hurt. I'm always about trying to be, I take constructive criticism and improvements as a great thing. So if you want to tell me like, hey, you should do this differently, let me know. I personally thought it was a lot of screen. Like, I wish there was a little bit more interaction. It's kind of hard to do that in Zoom. But you know what, we live and we learn, and especially when things are changing all the time. I will say this, I am so hopeful and excited that we finally get to have some in-person stuff, because it's been 2 years, and there's just nothing, it's just wonderful to have human connection, face-to-face live like that, right? But let's be honest, COVID's still here, right? The pandemic is still real. And things are changing. And I think Columbus State has done a fantastic job in responding to how we can safely do things, right? But I will say that the biggest thing for this semester is communication, flexibility, right? Because we are going through this all together at the same time, right? And what you feel comfortable with, just communicate with me. I know we have our core groups and this semester are in person. We're trying to find a way to make it hybrid. But if you are like, I do not feel comfortable, or, that is okay. You just let me know and we will find another thing for you to attend, or find a way to make it more inclusive in a digital way. So it's very brand new. I will say things can change, right when the pandemic happened 2 years ago, almost 2 years ago, who remembers the Women's Leadership Summit? We had it virtual last year. Well, 2 years ago, the pandemic happened literally a week before the summit. We had everything planned. We had our speakers, we had our giveaways. I still have some of the giveaways, and it was canceled. So what I'm trying to say is sometimes things can change. I'm very hopeful for this semester and for the next semester, but just know that it's going to take communication. It's going to take patience. It's going to take, flexibility. And, I'm very understanding, but I will say you have to communicate that with me too. So if you're like, just not come in and it's hard to read what that means. Is it because you don't feel comfortable, or is it because you need to find something else to meet that? So students, you can receive your scholarship, because you got to find a way to make that work, right? Okay. Does anyone have any questions before I do the last part of this? I just wanted to do a little presentation break. You're good? Doing good? Okay. Can I see everyone? Okay, let me, can I share my screen on here? I don't even think I can share my screen. Oh, yes, I can. Share. And I'm going to zoom through this because we have about 10 minutes left. Can you see that?
No. No.
Okay. Bear with me. Do you see that?
Yes.
Yes.
It's like a Women's Connection PowerPoint?
No.
No, just your screen.
Okay. How about this? Do you see the logo?
No.
Okay.
We see a rocket blue sky.
What do you see?
Your desktop screen.
Oh, we don't want you to see that. How about this? Do you see this now?
No.
How about this? You see that?
Yes.
Okay. I have 3 screens. This is like the first time I'm operating with 3 different screens, and I don't. It was showing a blank screen. Do you see that?
Yes.
Is it the presenter mode, or is it just the full screen?
Presenter mode.
Oh, okay. Okay, you see that? Okay, great. So again, you can unmute your mics. This is not structured at all. I really want this to be a conversation. You can ask me a question midway, that's okay. Do the chat. I can't see the chat, so Q's looking at the chat. So if you have a question about anything I'm going over, just please ask. A lot of this is going to be redundant, so I may skip over, okay? You already know who we are, and I'm so glad that we will have the opportunity to get to know each other more. But I just want to say again that that needs to be corrected. But Sarah Martin is the other ambassador coordinator who is also working with Q to oversee Women's Connection. And she cannot be here right now, but she is phenomenal. And you'll probably receive some emails. You'll see her next time at the core groups. So I just wanted to reinstate that our team, our Women's Connection core team, is myself, Q, and Sarah. So you may receive a lot of emails coming from us. I changed the calendar a little bit. So from the last time, I will say this: please join the Women's Connection Cougar Connect portal, because all the files we ever send you will be there. So if you're like, I don't know what email that is, just go to the Cougar Connect portal and download the file. But I wanted to talk about the events that are coming up this semester, okay? Everything that's yellow is what's considered required for students to get their $250 scholarship, okay? And remember what I said before: if there's something you can't attend, there's ways to make it up. Just have that communication with me. You have my email, you have my number. We can make a plan that works for you, okay? But our next core group, starting in October, is in, I believe, 2 weeks. It's in person. It is on the 4th floor ballroom of the Workforce Development Building on Cleveland Avenue. Does everyone know where that is?
No.
No. Hello, Echo.
Yeah. Hi.
Hi. So right next to the bookstore is the Workforce Development Building. They're kind of like connected, and I will send a visual map and circle where it is on the map. And just know that it will be there on the 4th floor. If you do not have a parking pass, you will be fine. I've already spoke with everyone that oversees that. You will be fine to park your car in student parking lot. We already discussed how that will be every month. You don't need like an extra pass to show anything for those days, okay?
Oh, yeah.
But I will be visual and showing where that is on the map. But long story short, the location, the ballroom is humongous. It's one of the biggest locations on campus. And in-person core groups, we have lunch. So we may we're trying to find the best way to see people's dietary restrictions and who's going to be coming, because what we don't want is to order for like 100 and then like there isn't 100 and then we have like 50 box lunches left over. So we're trying to figure out the best way to do that. Another great thing about this room is that it can, we're working on making it more virtually accessible. So there are ways to make it like where they can stream it from a computer anywhere. So we're still trying to work that out and see how that can best work. But anyway,
will it be kid friendly?
So if you honestly, this is how I am. Like, if you feel comfortable, if you want to, you can. You can. Just let me know. You know, that's like the one thing that is keeping you. You know, I also was a student parent too. I know it gets real. So like, you know, there were times like where I would have to bring my child to school, and we're very inclusive. If you feel comfortable, I will say that's the biggest point, is that I wouldn't mind it. Okay. I would just let me know. Okay.
I'm sorry, I was trying to ask you a
Hey,
question.
Shanna.
I was asking too, because you know I homeschool the kids.
I know.
Taking a break, and their dad told me it's going to take me an hour and 45 minutes to get there. The lady is not going to let us out of our lease in November.
Yep. And you know what? Let's talk. I know we were talking before. Let's talk again, because I know you live like 2 hours away. So we need to talk about another plan. Yeah.
But when I go and work, I also work with my dad in Dayton. It's still going to take me 45 minutes.
Yeah, Dayton's still really far. So we'll find a plan to make it work. I honestly, please do not feel obligated you have to come October 7th just because you are in a different state right now. We'll talk after to come up with a plan where you can make up the core group in a way that's virtual. But again, students, if this is the case, you have to reach out to me personally so we can find something that works best with your situation, okay? Sound good?
I still want to come down. I have to
I
come down.
know, I miss you too.
I haven't seen my brothers and sisters and my other 3 kids in almost 3 months because my
Aw.
car going up here. And
Yeah.
my granddaughter, my son is just turned grown. He's grown now. And my birthday's in October. And everybody's like, Mom, we haven't seen you in 3 months. And I was like, I'm sad. And plus, I'm supposed to have hip surgery in November. So I'm spazzing up down here really bad. I don't know why. With my hands, everything is going crazy right now because I've been walking. My son has in-home school, but he has to do gym, and I'm the parent that has to do gym, and I didn't realize that I'm the one who's suffering from the pain.
Oh, that's a lot. Happy early birthday. I hope everything is okay.
I'll see you we'll see about 13. We'll have a party online. Everybody get a cupcake.
Just let me know. Just let me. You have my information.
40.
Yep. Oh, that's a big birthday. Happy birthday.
I know, right?
That's awesome.
10 more years.
Twins. I turned 30 though.
Oh, that's a decade. Those are big birthdays, y'all.
That's 10 years off of me, but my son told me I got 1 foot in the grave. He's 5. He said, Mom, you got 1 foot in the grave and 1 foot on land. He's 5.
But yes, again, I just communicate with me and I'm happy to work something out. You know, we want to make this as accessible as possible. We understand this is not an easy time. Okay. So Yellow, the first core group we're having in person is going to be so fun because we're going to do fun ways to get to know each other. It will be in the ballroom. Masks are required in in-person events inside. So please know that if you forget your mask, we will have a mask for you there. We also will have food at the in-person events. So it's going to be a great time. So the next one you see in October, can you see my mouse when I highlight over it?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
I'm so excited. Okay, so Women's Connection has socials. So socials are not mandatory, but we definitely encourage you to go because they're so fun. They're fun. They're a great way to know your village, your network, and they also count as a makeup event. So, you know, if you need to make one up, a core group of students, you can come to this. This also counts as a mentorship mentee meeting. So if you're like, hey, we should have our mentorship meeting at this social, go ahead. So the next social is called Autumn Holidays. It is all planned by our student leaders. It will be an outdoor movie event with inflatable screen. We're going to watch Hocus Pocus. We're going to have pumpkin painting. It is a family-friendly event, so you just have to RSVP on Cougar Connect. And just address who you will be inviting. There's going to be a costume contest if you celebrate Halloween, if you would like to. There will be popcorn and cotton candy and hot cider, hot chocolate, and some juice. And we also are having a partnership with Mid-Ohio Market. So if Mid-Ohio Market is open on Wednesdays around this time, and we are really encouraging our students and their guests to go get a free box of groceries at Mid-Ohio Market. So that is a big thing we're doing. That it's going to be a fun event. It'll be on the Mitchell Hall lawn. It will be in the evening after our core group. So if you can come, please register because you have to register. I'm excited about it. Socials are always fun. We've done so many different types of socials before. You know, we had Valentine's Day, Sarah Baker. Are you here, Sarah? Sarah created Valentine's Day. We had so much fun. We were making like friendship bracelets and we were doing like a photo booth. It's just a really great time. We went bowling before, so socials are fun. Another thing I want to mention, November 10th is our next core group for November. That will be led by the Sarah Baker and Dr. Polkbland. They are going to be talking about growth mindset. It is a phenomenal presentation. I'm so excited that they will be presenting this topic. It is going to be phenomenal. And as you can see, core groups are not just a time for us to get to know each other. It's a time for our personal growth as well. And when we talk about growth mindset, that is just key during a time of, you know, when we're operating in a pandemic, right? We have to be adaptable. We have like the positive perspective of, you know, growing where we're at is very important too. So I'm really excited about that for November. I also just want to mention mentors. We keep saying mandatory and required. Core groups are not required for mentors to go. We encourage you to attend because it's more fun when you're there, but we understand this is during a work day. And if you have something else, that's totally okay. I would just, you know, mention it to your mentee, like, hey, it won't be there that time, or just letting us know. But we understand that, that you can't always be there, okay? But for students, you got to find a way to make it up if you can't attend it, and you have to communicate that with me. Another thing is we have another special event on November 12th. That is the CLCO Collegiate Conference of Ohio that will be located at Columbus State. It's something that is like, if you have ever listened to TED Talks, that's what CLCO is all. It's just a bunch of empowering speakers, a bunch of people, different college students and people in the community attend this to be inspired, empowered, to network with one another. We always pay for students to attend this event. It also counts as a makeup event as well. It will be on November 12th, but again, it's not required, but it is something we encourage you to attend. December, our last core group of this semester, is a great one because it's when we celebrate our graduates for Women's Connection. If you're graduating, please let me know, because we really celebrate our graduates. Like, we have an honors cord. We'd love to surprise you with celebration. We like to honor you in this last core group. It's a big deal. And then we also know that finals week is like around here. So we're trying to figure something out that's around self-care, stress busters. We just want you all to be, you know, taken care of before, you know, finals. So that is a plan for this semester. We will have the calendar for the following semester. So just know, if you do all of these stuff, like in yellow, students, or make up these yellow parts, you will receive your scholarship at the end of the semester, which is $250. For spring semester, you do not have to reapply. You are still in the program for spring. We will have a set of new core groups that you will have to attend or make up and to receive your scholarship. Does anyone have any questions about this? Are you excited? I'm so excited. It's gonna be so fun.
Katrina, we haven't received our mentee mentors yet, right?
Yes, thank you for saying that, Bill. Yes, we do not have, you will receive your mentorship matches or match by the end of this week. I already have them already matched. I'm super excited to let you all know, but you will receive an email from me between you and your mentee or mentees, and with their application and just an introductory email by the end of this Friday. So just hold on tight. If you have the same mentee from last time, I will also just say like, hey, you're matched again, and so forth, okay? So that was a great question. Thank you so much, Billy. Does anyone else have any questions about that mentorship or the events we have this semester? Nope. Okay, well, it's like 1:30 already. So we already talked about all this stuff. I'm not going to go in depth, like we already talked about it. I will say, please join the Cougar Connect Women's Connection page. If you want all the event invites, if you want all the files we ever send, if you want to do your mentorship form, they're there. So make sure you please join it. If you go to the Cougar Connect Women's Connection page on the top right-hand corner, you just press join, and then we accept you into it, and you get all the fun notifications, okay?
Is this where I tell Uriah to go to sign
yes.
up, or you send him something?
Send him Brett Welsh's email, because he needs to be
Okay.
at the door for sure.
Okay.
He's amazing.
Okay.
Oh, this is important. So the next steps is the Cougar Connect page if you haven't yet. When you receive your mentorship match via email, please reach out to one another to schedule your first meeting. The requirement for meeting will not start till October. So September doesn't count. October will start, October, November, December, okay? Remember, to receive your scholarship, students, you have to at least meet with your mentor in person or virtually at least 1 to 2 times a month, okay? You can meet more if you would like. The next core group is not Friday. please ignore that it says Friday. It is Wednesday, October 13th from 12 to 1:30. That is wrong. So please don't take that seriously that it says Friday. It's supposed to be Wednesday. They used to be on Fridays. But that's about it, y'all. Do y'all have any questions? Good.
Looking forward to it, Katrina. Thank you.
You're welcome. I'm so excited too. Well, I hope all of you have. Oh, did you say something, Echo?
I was just saying, have a good day.
Oh, have a great day too. I hope all of you enjoy this beautiful sunshine and you all have a wonderful day. We will see each other in 2 weeks. Please reach out to me if you have any questions at all. But thank you so much. And the 7th year of the Women's Connection cohort. I'm excited about it. So bye, everybody.
Oh, hi, everybody. My name is Rose, but my name is Rosanaya. I just want to reach out because I know my face isn't showing. I look extremely rough right now, but for sure, I definitely would love to meet everybody in person. So everybody have a nice day, and thank you so much for giving me this opportunity.
Welcome, Rose. Thank you for saying that. We're excited you joined Women's Connection. I'll see y'all.
Bye. Bye, Katrina. Thank you.
You're welcome. Take care.
Bye, Miss Katrina. I'm reaching out to a friend to see if they can rent me a car now, and that's gonna cost an arm and a leg, but we'll try.
Oh, we gotta talk after. That's a lot. We gotta talk after. Let's talk.
I know. You said pumpkin and movie and fest. I got 2 little kids and these go wow. They need some fun. We've been locked in this house for almost. He talking about 2 years. We've been locked in since we still locked in. That's the worst part.
I can't wait till you're back in town.
But yeah,
we'll have more events. I will tell you, we'll have more events. So
I'll be done this year. I decided to retake all the classes